When was the last time you drew something? And not a doodle or a scribble on the side of a notebook, but like an actual drawing that you took your time aside to make, maybe from your memory or maybe from a real-life inspiration. Between childhood and adulthood, most of us eventually stop drawing. It becomes this distant memory. But why have the majority of us stopped drawing when it was something all of us did as kids? See, I believe that we want to present the world something outstanding, something that isn't just mediocre, rather it is something praiseworthy. But this, ironically, holds us back. As kids, we drew with total freedom. There were no lines, no rules, no judgment, no grading, just an imagination that not even the walls or the pages could contain. Elephant could be any color, its trunk, any size. Characters could be any shape, fish could fly, trees could float. But as we grow, our expectations grow too. And this element of joy diminishes, and suddenly, drawing becomes an accuracy test. Lines must be straight, proportions must be correct. But drawing is quite different from capturing the same image on a piece of paper. Drawing is a depiction of each individual's style of expression, much like their handwriting or the way they talk. Why not simply stop comparing yourself with the others and draw for yourself? Why not create your own standard and be content with it? I remember my very first drawing. There was something deeply magical about creating something with my own hands and seeing the result only minutes later. This curiosity, this thrill to always want to see what a piece of paper might look like after I put hours or minutes into it never made me quit drawing. So why not draw badly and enjoy it anyway? Drawing can be much like baking. You put in the ingredients together, whatever the recipe is, and it might be the case that it tastes good but looks imperfect, or that it looks perfect but lacks the intended flavor. Yet you try. You try the recipe again and again, even though you are not a baker. And most important of all, you don't need to be a baker in order to experience this. I, myself, am an engineer. Yet I draw, I love to draw, when I travel, when I commute, or when I have free time. Drawing offers me therapy when other methods fail. It simply comforts me to know how a piece of paper and a pen can help me recharge and offer me an escape. A few years back, in 2021, due to an injury in my wrist, I lost some motor movements in my right hand. At that time, I did not know how long it would take to heal, or even if it will. There was this quiet fear at the back of my head that, what if it doesn't get better? What if it stays like that? I was in a new place temporarily for work at that time, so I didn't have much to accompany me. Drawing used to be my source of entertainment. So this injury on my right hand truly devastated me. I was bored, I was missing drawing, but I couldn't do it. Or at least that's what I thought. I was desperate. I thought, I have two hands, so why not I try drawing with my left hand? I knew I couldn't write with my left hand, so this idea did seem a bit ridiculous at first. But eventually, after motivating myself, I pushed myself and I tried drawing with my left hand. Initially, I struggled a lot, and I did quit a few times. But what I realized was that it was taking me the same amount of effort to draw with my left hand as it was taking me to write with my left hand. As a matter of fact, drawing felt a bit easier. Sure, it took me minutes to write something I would have written in seconds, or it took me hours to write something I would have done in minutes. But the important thing was that I was willing to be patient. Something like this, which would normally take me 20 seconds to write from my right hand, took me more than 5 minutes to write with my left hand. And even after that, it looked bad. It looked squiggly. But the important thing was that I was willing to be patient. And eventually, by persisting and by practicing again and again slowly, my left hand got a bit more comfortable with holding a pencil, with drawing. And that's why I learned something more important. I learned that after having learned to write the letters A to Z, the alphabets, We all have already mastered the fine movements needed for drawing. The small corners, shapes, crooks, curves, all of them are within the letters. We simply need to trust ourselves that we can do it. Eventually, with trying again and again, I could draw something more complex with my left hand. Sure, it took me exponentially longer, but the important thing was I was willing to be patient. Far too often people ask me, like, what is the best equipment that I can buy to improve their drawing? And while you can spend as much as you want, you can spend a fortune on the equipment's fancy tools and whatever, the most important tool that you can possess is always going to be patience. Patience to persist through the awkward beginnings. Patience to allow your hand to learn. Patience to move with your imperfections. And patience to not let the end picture intimidate you. Quite often it happens that thinking about the end picture kind of intimidates us. Can I do it? Like the intricate details in a cathedral or a church might seem a bit too complex to draw. Or the clouds in the sky may feel a bit too complex to capture with your pen. That is why it is important to separate what is easier to draw and what takes more time. It's also very important to appreciate your smaller milestones. That helps you build confidence, to always take shorter steps until you feel you are there. And then you can do it. You have the recipe. I know a lot of us blame ourselves that we can't draw because our lines are shaky, we can't draw straight, which is why we're gonna do a small demonstration in which I'm gonna show how shaky lines can benefit us. You all have goodie bags in front of you in which there is a book and a paper. If you wanna join me in a demonstration, you can take them out and we'll do a small drawing test. So have no fear, even if you draw shaky, because this is the demonstration that's gonna exactly show you how that's gonna help you draw. One of the key things that I want to deliver in this talk is like, to replace a straight line, you can replace a shaky line. I'm going to show you an example. So if a straight line looks something like this, we're going to replace this with this squiggly line. In fact, not just one squiggly line, but like a bunch of clustered squiggly lines. And this eventually is going to attempt at replacing the very straight line. So if we want to draw something proper, I want you all to do with me. I'm going to start off by drawing a small square. You can practice all these squiggly lines that I've just demonstrated. I know you're going to be judging your lines. You're probably comparing with the person next to you, but that's okay. I literally go through the same thing. I always judge my lines. I think I can't do it. But you have to persist until you can see the end result. So once you have something like this, like a bottom half of the square, the next thing you're going to do is draw two more crooked lines, except they're arcing towards each other. Keep drawing crooked lines, keep drawing shaky lines. It's fine. Even if you're judging your lines, that's fine. Just wait until the end result. Once you have this, you're going to double on the top part and draw something like this. Once we have that, we're going to draw something like an upside-down V, or when we're writing the letter A, you're going to draw something like this. If it's not straight, you can always correct it with squiggly lines on top of each other. Once you have that, you're going to extend it further to where these ends meet. And then we can go further, and then we can cut this in the middle from where this nook is. We can extend the line straight down. And then we're going to proceed one step further, and then we're going to draw two diagonal lines on each side. And we're going to attempt at drawing a vertical line. I know vertical lines are really difficult to draw, so you can see how crooked mine are. But I'm trying to replace them with shaky lines, so it kind of Looks okay in the end. Once you have that, we'll draw a piece here, a horizontal line. And once, if you're done with this rough figure, we're going to draw a bit more shapes. We're going to draw a trapezoid, somewhere around this area. So the important thing is, since we're trying to draw a structure can be seen from very different perspectives. You can see it from the side, from the below, from above. So there's no wrong way to draw it. You can draw a trapezoid like this. You can always double on the lines, which is the important point I was trying to tell. Once you have that, just draw 2 vertical lines. It doesn't matter if you don't connect them. This very shape that we just draw, we're going to replicate it a few more times on the side. Once on the left, and maybe we can do it twice on the right. It's okay if you're feeling tense right now. That was exactly how I felt when I was trying to draw with my left hand or when I tried to draw with my right hand. So you have something of a structure. If you want, you can add slightly more details, like you can draw a window. If you're finding it difficult to draw windows, you can just write the letter D. That kind of replaces it as well. You can add a little bit more details if you want. You can draw a clock here. You can add more squiggly lines if you want to add depth. You can also add on this side. One important tip I can give you is if you want to differentiate between 2 separate surfaces, on one side you can maybe draw diagonal lines, and on the other you can draw horizontal lines or vertical lines. But this is a very repetitive process. If you keep repeating this process again and again, you can achieve more depth and you can add more character to your drawing, and it can end up looking something like this. You can see the one on the left side is drawn using the squiggly method. It's just repetition, more and more again. So shaky lines is not exactly an excuse to not draw. You can draw crooked lines and you can draw them again. If you break your lines, if you break your pencil, just sharpen it again, as long as you are giving yourself an opportunity to draw. So why not go to your favorite cafe, your favorite spot in the city, and try to make a drawing there? Why not go to your favorite sightseeing spot and make it more memorable? Why not simply use the art as a language you use to communicate with the others? Connect with others through art. And in the end, even if it is broken lines and crooked lines that you end up creating, it's going to be your creation, your understanding, and your viewing of things. You have the recipe: patience and practice. Thank you.